Hello! Behind me a temple, the name of which is Nyatapola. It is the tallest temple in Nepal. We are preparing a documentary about this temple. We will present things about who built this temple, why it was built, and when it was built. In this video, we will present some very interesting things. We will also present tale stories. The video is very good. Please watch the whole video and give feedback. Those who came to visit Bhaktapur must have seen the Panchtail temple. Those who have not yet visited Bhaktapur may not know where it is located. It is about 12 kilometers from Tribhuvan International Airport. And we can reach here by car within 23 minutes. It is just 300 meters from Bhaktapur Durbar Square. Most of the visitors to Bhaktapur have visited this temple, because it is the tallest temple in Nepal. This temple is named after the Newari language. Since the Mullah kings were Newari speaking, this temple got its name from Newari. Nyata means 5 floors and Pola means roof in Newari language. It is called Nyatapola, meaning 5-story temple, because it has 5 roofs. This temple was going to be built by King Bhupatindra Mullah. Think about why this temple was built. It has many tale stories. Now I am telling a story. King Bhupatindra Mullah loved a girl very much. They sat on the roof and smiled at each other. Seeing this, the queen became suspicious. And she could not say anything to the king. And he thought of a trick. She thought of putting a barrier between them. And she advised to build a 5-story temple. As this is hearsay, it may not be true. Let's talk about another story. At that time, such people strongly believed in religion. We know that Lord Bhairava is one of the most fearsome. And he craves girly people more. The place where Nyatapola Temple is located is called Ta Mari. There is a temple of Bhairava to the southeast of the Nyatapola Temple. Astrologers advised to install Mata Siddhi Lakshmi Devi to control this Bhairav. There was a small 5-story temple there. It is heard that this tall temple was built after destroying that temple. There is an idol of Mata Siddhi Lakshmi Devi inside this temple, which is considered more powerful than Lord Bhairava. Most temples are named after the deity that houses them. For example, as Lord Narayan resides in Shanganarayan Temple, it is named Shanganayan Temple. But even though goddess Shita Lakshmi resides in this temple is called Nyatapola Temple. It is said that this temple was prepared in only 6 months. Even today's engineers do not believe. Also, the earthquakes that have occurred at different times have not damaged this temple so much. We will also discuss this. Bhaktapur municipality has given a lot of emphasis to the tourism business. For this, large vehicles are not allowed in Ta Mari and Bhaktapur Durbar Square. Also, there are a lot of internal and external tourists. Birthdays of temple, Paddy, Kuwa, and wells are called Busada in Newari. They are worshipped at that time. A triangular flag is also buried. They are also maintained and cleaned. It is also customary to clean and repair the 5-story temple on that day. Roof worship is also done. At that time too, we could not have worshipped Mata Sihalakshmi Devi. That is, it is covered with 3 or 4 cloths. Worship is performed only by the original priest, Idati Karmakarya. So no one knows what that god is like. However, some things have been heard. This goddess has 9 heads and 18 arms. It is about 9 feet tall and carved in black stone. Now I am talking about this Nyatapola temple construction. The main source about the construction history of the Nyatapola comes from a palm leaf manuscript named Siddhagni Koyhudi Devala Pradit by modern scribes. It is a ledger written in Nepal Bhasa. Contains the name, wage, and work time of every single person who contributed to the construction, details, and cost of every single religious ritual performed, and the detailed timeline of the construction. Thus, this is considered to be the first account when building the temple in Nepal. Before this, it was not customary to keep maps like this while doing any construction work. There was a small temple in the place where Nyatapola Temple is now built. That temple was demolished and the present large 5-story temple was built. Some land and houses were also acquired for that. This made some residents angry. If this leader can be prepared again within 6 months, provision of necessary goods, workers, etc. in advance is also a major reason. Beginning on December 25, 1701. About 40 to 69 workers first dismantled a small temple named Nyatapola and then the foundation of the Nyatapola temple was set to work. On January 4, 1702, Bhupatindra Molla laid the foundation stone carrying 3 bricks on his shoulders and started the construction work. After the inauguration, people from Bhaktapur, Thimi, Sangha, Dhulikal, Banipa, Panadi, Korako, Srikhandpur and Lalitpur states also started coming regularly to help in the construction. Once the raw materials were ready, construction took off. In April, as the Biska Jatra festival approached, construction was temporarily halted for 15 days. By May 7, 1702, the lower floor was tiled by Pola Appa. The Nyatapola temple was made with 1,135,350 bricks plus additional 102,304 bricks were used to pave the plinths. It is also heard that there is something more. For example, the gauger was started making only after starting work, which is about 100 kilograms. There is a very interesting story in this connection which I will present later. Similarly, the wind bells were started making only after starting work. This temple was ready in 6 months because the basic works had already been completed. For example, clay, stone, wood, workers, masons, etc. were provided earlier. Although it is hard to believe, if the record is to be believed, it must be believed. Many stories about it also emphasize this. I will present those stories later. For bricks, kilns were established in December 1701 at 5 locations around the city gates. Later, King Bhupatindra Malla made 3 other kilns to operate. Thus a total of 8 kilns burned bricks. However, most of the bricks were purchased from traders. From February 20, 1702, the construction of the gauger began. Likewise, we can see bells on all 5 floors. 168 bells were hung on first ceiling, 128 on second ceiling, 104 on third, 80 on 4RT and 48 on upper ceiling. Out of these 528 bells, 1 bell rings by itself. In this way, it is believed that rain will fall after the ringing of the bell itself. In the same way, there is a popular belief that it rains when the bird is sitting on the gauger. Similarly, in the 5-storied temple, we can see that the stone idols are placed in pairs. Each pair is said to be 10 times stronger than the one below. At the bottom are 2 Rajput wrestlers named Jai and Pratap who are said to be 10 times stronger than normal men. There is a story. Sculptures made by the twins. They made those idols facing the opposite direction. It is said that these idols were brought from Lalitarpur. It sounds like the twins have the same thing going on in their minds. So the idols look the same at a glance. But there are definitely some differences. Like the hands on the knees are different. Even the clothes are different. The shields are also different. Take a look when you go there. Above them are huge statues of 2 elephants. Those elephants are said to be 10 times more powerful than the wrestlers below. Above them are 2 statues of the Lion King of the jungle, which is considered to be 10 times stronger than an elephant. Above these lions are statues of 2 sardals. The griffin is considered to be 10 times stronger than a lion. They are like lions, but their mouths are like eagles. Above it are statues of 2 goddesses. They are Singhani and Vyagrani, who are stronger than all defenders. And inside the temple is the goddess of Siddhalakshmi, which is more powerful than the 2 goddesses. In the name of this goddess, i.e. the temple, there is no worship, festival, and bhajan kirtans, because this temple was established to control Lord Bhairav. So there are 4 temples of Lord Ganesha in 4 corners. 2 Ganeshas are facing south in front. And the remaining 2 are facing north. Ganesha in southwest is called Jor Ganesha, because it is Ganesha who arranges marriages. In other words, this Ganesha is worshipped when marriage fails. Lord Bhairava is also considered a form of Mahadev. Similarly, goddess Bhagavati and Siddhalakshmi are also considered to be forms of Parvati. However, what is said is that since Bhairava is not married, he harasses women. That is why Siddhalakshmi Devi's temple had to be established. That is, the Nyatapola temple had to be built. There is a story that Lord Ganesha did not allow Mahadev to meet even his wife Parvati. Thus, it is said that Ganesha's temple is placed in 4 corners because Lord Ganesha is committed to it. Also a stone stream behind the temple. The water offered in the temple comes from this stone stream. But that is not the case here, it seems to be placed for show. Meanwhile, the Agni Yagna was going on. Manuscripts of these things are preserved in the National Archives of Nepal. It is believed that the 5 levels of Nyatapola are symbols of earth, water, fire, air and sky, respectively. It took only 214 days to complete the structure from digging to placing its top. However, it took only 88 days to stand as a huge structure. Now let's go to the story of the establishment of Nyatapola's Gager. 3,877 people from Bhaktapur and 6,609 people from outside were seen to have worked since the foundation of Nyatapola. Workmen and expenditure details appear to be kept correct. At that time, King Yoganarendra Molla of Lalitpur used to come to see this work on an elephant. It also seems to have kept track of how much grass was fed to the elephant. Those who worked in this way were given lunch in the afternoon. At that time a boy used to eat a lot of lunch and return without doing any work. This matter reached the ears of the king. But the king tells him not to say anything. In the end, it is heard that the boy alone picked the Gager and placed it on the top of the temple. There is a small debut to how big the Gager is. It is heard that it was made by adjusting the shape of the debut. It is heard that the boy is none other than God Beetle. There used to be a small temple at the place where the Nyatapola is located. That small temple was also of 5 floors. That temple has been demolished and a 33.23 meter i.e. 108.26 feet tall temple has been erected. Some houses had to be acquired to build the temple. The person called Dukhi Barrow was very upset when he was acquired in this way. because that house was given to him by his father as a gift and he loved that house very much. Instead of the house here, he was given another house in a place called Balakan. Even though his family lived in Balakan, his heart seemed troubled. He wrote Ramayana to forget this worry. Shankar Awal was a labor leader at that time, who was no less than today's engineer. It is surprising that this temple was built 330 years ago. Even the earthquake did not damage it much. Therefore, during Bushad and even today the children of Shankar Awal do the repair and worship work. In other words, even today, his descendants do the work of burying the flag on the roof. In this connection, I would like to add one interesting thing. Then King Bhupatendra Malla was no less than Shankar Awal. King Bhupatendra Malla had the foundation placed about 4 feet above the ground level. By the time it reached the first floor, it was only about 3 inches higher. By the time the temple was completed, the land had come to match the label exactly. This was possible only because of the temple's weight. Likewise, I would like to add another. Seeing that everyone was working, King Bhupatendra Malla also decided to make a pillar. But he could not make a good pillar like a carpenter. Eventually, it had to be cut into 2 pieces. There are a total of 20 pillars. Among them, 1 pillar is made by connecting 2 parts, which no one has been able to know till today. If you go there, don't forget to see if you can find that pillar. An iron wall is also found in the old pictures of the Nyatapola Temple. It is difficult to find concrete evidence as to why the wall was put up and why it was removed. In my opinion, it may have been removed because it would be difficult to conduct the festival of Madhav Narayan. Similarly, in the past, there was no unpleasant incident of stone pelting during the Biska festival. It started later. Thus, the fence made it very difficult for people to escape after the stones were thrown. That is why this iron fence was removed. two strong men are placed under the Nyatapola Temple. They are called Jay and Pratap. We can find their names in Indian history. There is a Raya community in Attachan Toll of Bhaktapur, which is said to be the ancestor of Jay and Pratap. The Raya community has a tradition of worshipping those strong men during the festival of Diwali. King Bhupatindra Molla had good relations with most of the kings of Kathmandu Valley. However, he did not have a good relationship with the two kings of Kirtipur and Kantipur. I would like to add one thing here. At that time only 7 layers of bricks could be made in a day. The next day only 4 layers were left. That is, 3 levels would disappear. The king laughed when he heard this from the workers. They used to say, "The people of Kirtipur or Kantipur are trying to thwart our work." Finally they found out that the king did this so that the temple would be strong and the people would get more jobs. $1,135,350 bricks and an additional 102,304 dachiapas were paved to build the Nyatapola Temple. 3065 bricks seem to be more. Even those extra bricks seem to be put to good use. Those extra bricks were used to build Gongpoku on Nagarko Road. About 28,000 people worked to build this Nyatapola Temple. It seems that other than the Noors also gave their labor and advice to build this temple. For example, it seems that the advice of the Nupanes of Duakat was also taken. The contribution of people outside Bhaktapur is also seen in this temple. It seems that 3,877 people from Bhaktapur and 6,609 people from outside helped to build this temple. Was this temple ready in 6 months? For this, let's move on to some interesting things. Bhaktapur residents are mostly farmers. Such farmers mostly lived in the fields. Most farmers also had a house on their farm. Even today, some houses like this can be seen. The construction of this Nyatapola temple was started at the time of wheat sowing. Along with this temple is a toll called Kwachi. A person from the same Kwach toll had returned home after 6 months after sowing wheat. He was very surprised to see the Nyatapola temple. He felt as if he had lost his way. Suddenly the wife called from the window of the house. This also proves that this temple was built in a short period of time. Similarly, let's move on to another fact. I am also a member of the Deshamaru family. My name is Anil Deshamaru. You can search for me on YouTube. It is trying to raise the issue of how our Deshamaru surname came to be. Our ancestors also worked in the fields. Our ancestor was amazed to see the Nyatapola temple. And he went as far as to ask his friend how this temple came to be here. Don't you know this? "You are Deshamaru," scolded his friends. Those living outside the country are called December. In this way, our surname became Deshamaru. I have heard this story from many people. This also proves that this temple was built in a short period of time. In the past, when people built houses, wood was used a lot. Similarly, it seems that 5 types of wood were used in the Nyatapola Temple. These include chap, sal, sala, cedar, and gobar sala. There are attractive carvings on those woods. The statues of various gods and goddesses are carved in the struts on all 5 floors. On the struts of the first and second floors are wooden figures of Astamatrika, namely the idols of Brahmayani, Maheshwari, Kumari, Vaishnavi, Varahi, Indrayani, Mahakali, and Mahalakshmi. On the struts of the 3rd consecutive tier is the image of Lokshwar. Similarly, on the struts of the 4th and 5th levels, images of Mahalakshmi and Shiva Shakti are drawn respectively. Earlier Noirs used to paint attractive carvings on their windows and doors. But nowadays this trend has started to disappear. So it seems that Bhaktapur municipality is trying to save it. For this, Bhaktapur municipality seems to be giving dakyapas at subsidized rates. Nowadays, the main doors seem to be using archaic carvings. Similarly, it is seen that many stones were used in the 5-story temple. The stones were collected from different places in Bhaktapur. Some stones were also brought from outside. Some were donated by the people of Thimi, Banipa, Panadi, and Nagdesh. The group was led by Tulsi Lokarmi, who received a tola of gold along with his salary during the inauguration. Thus, while building this temple, the wood used, the stones, and the workers were well accounted for. These things are written in the Siddhagni Kotyahudi Devala Pratishta manuscript. It is also seen that the king was happy and gifted gold to many people. Although it is the largest temple in Nepal, it does not seem to have been affected by the earthquakes that have occurred at different times. In 1835 AD there was also a big earthquake, but it is not found in any record of how much damage was done. But the earthquake in 1934 blew away only one floor of the 5-story temple. That is why it is said that even today, Nyatapola Katamuru Biladeo Patamuru, or one floor of the 5-story temple, was blown away, while the temple of Lord Bhairav was completely damaged, which we can also see in the picture. It was repaired by King Tribhuvan Molla at that time. Similarly, there was an earthquake in 1989 but it did not cause much damage. A devastating earthquake in 2015 also caused moderate damage to it, but it took 9 months for Bhaktapur municipality to resolve it. However, the Bhaktapur municipality did the renovation at a low cost through public donations. Siddhalakshmi is the presiding deity of Nyatapola Temple, because it is a powerful tantric deity. Also, there are 2 idols of Mahaja Bhairav and Masan Bhairav on either side of the idol. However, the priest opens the doors of the temple only during Dashain and Panchaprakar pujas. In addition to this, the priests of Talaju's Akaraya caste perform regular puja and arti in the temple. There is a similar 5-story temple in Lalitpur, although not as tall as this one. This temple was built in 1335 before Nyatapola Temple, the name of which is Kumshwar Temple. There is a Shiv Linga inside this temple, which means it is a temple dedicated to Shiva. It was built in 1335 during the reign of King Jayasthiti Malla. At that time, there was a competition between the Malla kings of the valley to build a temple. Therefore, after seeing the 5-story temple in Lalitpur, it may have been built in Bhaktapur as well. But during the construction of this temple in Bhaktapur, it is also seen that King Yoga Narendra Molla of Lalitpur gave a lot of support to King Bhupatindra Molla of Bhaktapur. A big fair is held in this temple of Lalitpur on the day of Janai Punarma. On the day of Nyatapola inauguration, the people of a place in Bhaktapur boycotted the inauguration. Perhaps King Bhupatindra Molla forgot to invite them. That place was Suryamati. The residents of Suryamari were furious and celebrated by inaugurating the Ganesha temple in front of the present Bageshwari school. It is also heard that King Bhupatindra Molla, after learning about this, pleased them by building many padi pawa, stone taps, and temples at that place. It is all safe for solo travel, which means you can travel without a guide. But we also recommend you for a certified guide who will help you understand the authentic Bhaktapur and the stories carved in the monuments.
Now we are in Taumari Square. This is, we call it a Taumari Square. Tau means bigger. Bigger, this are all other Newari people houses. So this is surrounded by the local Newari people houses. Because of that we call it a Taumari Square. Tau means bigger. It's a local people staying area, public square. We call it a Taumari Square. And left to me, this is the temple of Kal Bhairava. The temple of Kal Bhairava. When we have New and big festival, we have New Year in normally 13 or 14 April. At that time we have the New Year festival. At that time belongs to the Bhairava. We make a big wooden chariot. The wooden chariot, all the wooden parts you find in the back of behind of Shiva temple, and all the wooden parts gather over here, and our New Year 9 days festival started from here, and this goes further to make around ancient Bhaktapur city 9 days, and again in here. So this is the one of the ancient tantric Hindu temple, Shiva temple. And okay, in the back of me, this is the we call it the 5-story temple. Because of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plain and 5 stories, we call it a 5-story temple. And date of this temple construction in 170 AD by the king Upatendra Malla. And we call this inside the goddess is the Siddhi Lakshmi. Siddhi Lakshmi temple. So it's a height 35-meter high, and it is a masterpiece of the pagoda designing temple of Nepal. So inside the goddess, it is also locally people used to say that inside the goddess is protected by the 5 different pairs of the animal. In the first print, you will find the 1 pair of wrestler, second 1 pair of elephant, 1 pair of lion, and fourth 1 pair of we call it the griffin. Griffin. It means half, but
Sardul,
body like a lion, and it is the mouth head like a vulture. And in the back, 1 pair of the goddess of lioness, goddess of tigress. So this temple is we believe on the tantric instrument. We call it a Sri Yantra, good luck symbol. So this temple based on the Sri Yantra. On the Sri Yantra, to cover the 4 different directions, 4 different gates is covered by the small 4 Ganesh. This is small Ganesh.
Small Ganesh.
And this is small.
Road, it's called road Ganesh also.
Okay. From the earthquake, very toppermost upper roof, there was a little slightly problem, and now no more problem. This all the made from the local material, brick, clay, wood carving, and stone. So it's a masterpiece of the wooden architect. Wooden is a locking designing system. So this is a very famous for the local gathering as well. And this is a temple of this Ayalatul Shiva temple, and we call it the 5-story temple, Siddhi Lakshmi temple. Three small statue. One is Siddhi Lakshmi, one is Shikari, Bhairav, and next one I forgot what the three.
Masan Bhairav and Mahakal Bhairav.
Now here's some interesting things from friends.
저것도 냐우라. 같은 선수.
Ini malah sini anak tunggu, kalau gunung lagi solid dong, bukunja suan lagi.
Kita lagi bukunja sudah puas dengan apa ni kat.
Bukunja suan, mulai. Pilih tu jangan maju pelak.
I collected information from many people to make the documentary. In the same way, I have also presented here the words of the culture expert Om Prasad Dobhatal. Many things have been taken from Google and Wikipedia. If there are some errors and some things need to be added, please comment.